Most people believe identity is who they are. It's not. It's what they repeat. And if you don't understand that, you will spend your entire life trying to fix outcomes without ever touching the system that creates them. You've been told to be yourself, to find who you are, to lean into your personality. But what if I told you there is no fixed self to find? What you call yourself is a pattern of thoughts, a pattern of reactions, a pattern of decisions repeated so many times they now feel automatic. And because they feel automatic, you call them you. Let's strip this back. Every moment of your life follows a loop. Stimulus, response, reinforcement. Something happens, you interpret it, you act, and whatever you do gets remembered. Not consciously, but structurally. Neurons fire, connections strengthen. Pathways get easier to travel the next time. Or, as Aristotle wrote, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Not poetry. Mechanics. Because repetition is not just behaviour. It is construction. Now here's the part most people avoid. Your life, right now, is not a mystery. It's a reflection. Your body reflects your repeated standards. Your bank account reflects your repeated decisions. Your relationships reflect your repeated tolerances. Even your thoughts are not random. They are rehearsed. So when you say, "This is just who I am," what you're really saying is, "This is the pattern I've practiced long enough that I no longer question it." And that's where most people get trapped. Because they mistake familiarity for identity. Here's the uncomfortable truth. There is nothing noble about being yourself, if yourself is unexamined. There is nothing authentic about running unconscious patterns. And there is nothing permanent about the identity you're clinging to. Because it was built. Not declared, not discovered, built. Layer by layer, choice by choice, day by day, which means it can be rebuilt. Identity is not a personality. It is a system of loops, a system of defaults, a system of repeated instructions executed daily. And like any system, it produces exactly what it's designed to produce. Not what you want, not what you hope for, what it's built for. So if your outcomes are off, you don't need more motivation. You don't need more information. You need to look at the system. Because the system never lies. It quietly outputs your reality based on what you consistently feed it. This is where responsibility enters. Not as guilt, not as shame, but as clarity. If identity is a system, then you are not stuck. You are simply running code. Code you didn't consciously write. that code you have been executing every day. And the moment you see that, you gain something most people never touch: authorship. Because now you're no longer asking, why am I like this? You're asking, what am I repeatedly doing that creates this? Different question, different power. So here's where you begin. Not with a complete overhaul. Not with some dramatic reinvention. You start by observing the loop. What triggers you? How do you respond? What gets reinforced? Again, and again, and again. You don't need to fix it immediately. You need to see it clearly. Because once a pattern is seen, it can no longer operate with the same level of control. Awareness doesn't solve everything, but it disrupts automation. And disruption is the first step toward design. Identity is not something you are. It is something you do. Repeatedly, relentlessly, whether you realize it or not. And every small action, every thought you entertain, every standard you tolerate is a casting vote for the person you are becoming. So understand this. You are not your past. You are not your personality. You are not your story. You are your system. And if you don't design it, it will continue to design you. If you don't design the system designs you.